welcome to QETV Live Show with your host, Miss H. I am so grateful that you have tuned in to view me live here on VoxWave.com. Again, if you want to watch me live streaming right now, go to VoxWave, subscribe to VoxWave, click on and subscribe to it, and you will watch me. Yes, I'm live right now here in the studio, 4711 Oz Place. I'm here every Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VoxWave. So go and talk to someone, go call someone, text someone, connect with someone, and let them know you're watching QETV Live Show. We have an exciting show for you today. So let's just get started, okay? First, I would like to say Happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there that are celebrating Valentine's Day, and you know, your hugs, your love, your kisses, and your words of encouragement to your loved ones. Please right now wish your family and friends a happy Valentine's Day, as well as QETV Live also is celebrating Black History Month. You know, I love to talk about Black History Month because it's a time where we get to honor, we get to remember those people who have contributed and influenced, whether it's through an individual person or event that has happened. We get to celebrate our past, right now our present, because we are yet making history every day, and celebrating those that are coming up right now, being prepared to change our world and influence the world that we live in now. So we love to honor and celebrate one another during this time. And I really want to pay homage to Mr. Carter Woodson. I had to look up to remember the exact date, but in 1926, as an historian, educator, and he was a publisher, that he recognized it, and he was influential in having this country give us a week, allow that week to be celebrated so we could honor those who have paved the way so that we could be here today. And Black History Month is not just for African American. We want to educate everyone around the world. Help us, join us to celebrate Black History Month, okay? And speaking about Mr. Woodson, as an educator and a publisher, that's what makes this show so special today, because I am honored today to have someone here who is an educator, who is a publisher, who has made a difference and has influenced the world that we live in now through her steadfastness and through her education, through her writing that you will see. So you don't want to miss this show. As well as celebrating, I pulled up as a female writer that I have on the show today, who I'm celebrating as a writer, as an author, as an educator. I went back to look at who was the very first Black female, to honor her during this time as I honor my special guest today. So when I looked it up, her name is Phyllis Wheatley. She wrote her very first poem at the age of 12. She became the first female African American writer. So I'm honored again today to not only be able to talk about and be thankful for those who have paved the way for us to be here and for us to have this type of influence in our life, but also to honor those such as Phyllis Wheatley, such as Mr. Carter Woodson, who has allowed this to be a day in history, a month in history, and it really started off being just a week. And then in 1976, we were honored to be given an entire month. And I just share that information. I know a lot of you know that information, but I want you to help me honor those during this time of the month. And a lot of times people look at, how do we honor? What do we say? Do we wear the garb? Do we walk around with the fist of black power? No, there's many, many ways in which we can honor. We first have to do what the late Aretha Franklin says. When we learn how to respect one another, that is the first key to honoring and allowing yourself to be a part of Black History Month. Is to learn how to respect one another, learning how to love each other. It is no coincidence that Black History Month is in February, a month of love. And you remember that during the Christmas holidays, I told you, don't lose the spirit of Christmas. The spirit of Christmas is a time of year where we celebrate love and we celebrate giving. And I told you, one of the greatest things that you can give to yourself is never lose that. Keep that spirit throughout the year. And right now is a perfect opportunity on this love day. We call it the Day of Love, St. Valentine's Day. Learn to respect other people. You know, whether they're Black, white, Latino, Asian, it doesn't matter. Even though it's Black History Month, let's learn to respect one another and give. You know, so many times people may want to get a little depressed on Valentine's Day because they don't have a boo or they're not married, they single. But you know what? Valentine's Day is not just about married people. Oh, I have a call coming in. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am, beautiful.
Oh, hi. That's my husband, Mr. Lewis Hightower. How can I help you?
Happy Valentine's Day, beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And
you
happy
put the
Valentine.
Valentine.
Pardon me?
You put the V in Valentine. If there was
no
V, there would be no Valentine's Day without you, beautiful.
Oh, you know what? I received your card this morning. I didn't open it until later. And since you're on the phone, I just want to read it real quickly to let everyone know. I thought it was such a thoughtful card. But I want to take this and make it a message for me to really live by. The card reads, I know a blessing when I see one. That's one reason I like looking at you. So I appreciate that you see me as a blessing. And now it is my turn to see myself as a blessing because God says I'm blessed. And because he says I'm blessed, I need to see myself as a blessing. So thank you for that reminder. And then it says, you truly bless me, and I'm so thankful that you have shown me what love looks like. Happy Valentine's Day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, and have a great day.
Too,
all right, thank you for that call.
Bye-bye.
That was so thoughtful, and again, that's the same thing that I'm just sharing with you about this special day, because this day could turn into, just like people do at Christmas time, they feel lonely, they get into depression because they feel like no one loves them. And I hear that a lot even during Valentine's Day, and a single person may say, or someone who's recently going through a divorce may say, well, it's easy for you because you just had your husband call in or you received the card, but I don't get that. Well, you know what you can do? One thing God showed me after my mother passed, he says, stop dwelling on her not being here and dwell on how you can honor her through her legacy and the life she's giving you. So I say that back to you. Valentine's Day is not just a day where you are receiving. Turn Valentine's Day into a day where you give, because that's where the blessing comes. It's more blessed to give than it is to receive. Give a hug, give a smile, give someone, tell them thank you, congratulations. Do something on this day to take you off of self, you know. And when you do that, you are fulfilling and helping all those around you to celebrate this special day. But at the same time, for all of you late husbands and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends out there, don't forget, whether you got to go by Walmart or Target, go get those roses, those flowers, the candy. Is not too late to say, I love you, I appreciate you. Teacher appreciation. We appreciate a soldier. You can tell someone that's in the military, I love you. Thank you for your service. A policeman. Tell your doctor, your dentist, your lawyer. I mean, it's just so many ways to say I love you without feeling that it has to be a rose or a box of candy. And again, the same thing with Black History Month. There are so many ways that we can honor one another. Again, first by respecting who we are, made in the image of likeness of God. I'm going to go on a station break. I don't want you to go anywhere. What I want you to do right now is connect with 5 people. Go on your Instagram page, go, send out some tweets, go on Facebook, go on Alignable, LinkedIn, wherever you reach out, YouTube, wherever you reach out, connect with 5 people, because I have someone on the show today, as I said, that I'm here. It's an honor to be able to interview an educator, a writer, a publisher who have worked her way through life and has been very influential in our world and with others. You want to hear her story. You also want to hear about her Redemptive Love series. She's going to draw you in. It's almost like everyone loves a good story. And her books, her Redemptive Love series, is like telling a story. She's going to draw you in with her message. So you don't want to miss this show. So again, I will be right back. Hello and welcome back to QETV Live Show with your host, Miss H, as well as my very special guest today, Miss Doris H. Dancy. How are you?
I am great.
Good, good. Before we get started, remember I told you, please connect with 5 people right now. I want you to go on your social media platform because you don't want to miss what she's about to share with you and draw you in to these redemptive love series books that she has written. And you're going to hear more about them. But let me share with you some information as to why it is an honor and a privilege today to celebrate Miss Dancy. About her, Miss Doris H. Dancy. She was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. She's the daughter of the late Lemuel and Mildred Hodge. She is an accomplished and award-winning educator, writer, and speaker, playwright, novelist, and member of the St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church. She's from Newport News, Virginia, and the Lambda Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. It's always been hard for me to say all those names. She received her Bachelor's of Art degree in English. So me and her have already discussed today that I have made her officially my English watcher, but today she promised that she wouldn't correct my English on the show today. But she is an English teacher, was an English teacher. So she has her BA degree in English and as a Spanish educator. Awesome. At North Carolina Central at the University in Durham, North Carolina, and her Master of Art degree in Hampton, Virginia. Miss Dancy has been a teacher of English, an English teacher specialist, and the English reading supervisor K through 12 for Hampton City Public School. And we're going to hear more about an award that she won, a very prestigious award. Also, Miss Hampton, after retirement, Miss Hampton started her own writing consultant business, pen to paper, Writing Consultant LLC. The company provides consulting services for schools, divisions, and educational staff development. Additionally, editing service and provide to school division and freelance writer. She is also the author of the Redemptive Love series, and we're going to talk more about it because she's offering a Valentine package for all 3 of her books. And you will find out how to get a hold of her, how to order these award-winning books in her Redemptive Love series. The first book is called Jagged Edges, and we're going to talk more about that. Then she went on to her next series in the series called Shattered Pieces, and now her latest book, All Other Ground. And we're going to find out about those books a little later. During Miss Dancy's career, her awards have been numerous. However, she is most proud of the Virginia Outstanding Teacher of English, the National Award for Building Successful Readers. I love it, I love it, I love it. Successful readers, because I've always heard the saying, readers are leaders. And when you learn how to read, that changes your lives. We can look back in history when we as a people, once we learned how to read, life changed for us. Again, I told you, this is Black History Month. I am sitting among someone who, she's not in my past like Mr. Carter Woodson was. She's not Phyllis Wheatley from my past, but we celebrate those. But here I have someone in my studio right now who is an award-winning educator, who is an award-winning writer, publisher, and has gone on to do some outstanding things to encourage our young people, whether you're young or old, to learn the skill of writing, reading, and English. You can't find anyone else that can change a life once you have an understanding of education. So at this time, without any further ado, I would like to introduce to my viewers and introduce to the world, to those who do not know her, Miss Doris H. Dancy. Thank you so much for being a guest. I feel so honored to have you here. How are you today?
I am great, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I just want to get started because time is of the essence right now, and I want to allow her as much as the next half hour as you can. But tell us, how did you do all you've done? Yet you look so young, so beautiful. You look amazing, but yet you have accomplished all these things. Tell us who influenced you and how you got started with this.
I will tell you that my mother and my grandmother were great influencers.
Okay.
Because they kept me in church
Mm-hmm.
and kept me understanding what it meant to really trust God. No matter what situations come about in your life, trust God. Don't always look at the circumstance as it is, but look at what God is able to do. And even as I began to write my books, I started writing about the broken, because I felt like I had been broken in my college career, where I had bullies for roommates. They didn't want to study. They were bringing in people who were not interested in getting a degree. And my parents were working hard to make sure I could stay there. And they would do really mean things to me, like take my clothes and hide them, or my shoes or whatever. And I almost gave up in my brokenness. And I went home one weekend and I told my mother and my grandmother that I wasn't going back. And they said, "Oh, yes, you are, because God deserves better than your failure."
Wow.
And I will never forget that. God always deserves more than our failure. And so we have to try to trust him and put everything that we have in our belief in him. So they sent me back.
So wait a minute, just so the viewers will know. Your first year in college.
Yes.
And this was at North Carolina Central.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So your first year in college, you had a bunch of roommates that was bullying you.
Yes.
So as you can see, bullying is nothing new.
Mm-mm.
Bullying is nothing new, and we'll talk about that on another thing. But for all of you out there right now that may be experiencing bullying, I want you to listen to her message, because what her mother told her is what guided her through this. So I want you to listen. So you tell me that you took it upon yourself to get on a bus and go back home.
Yes, I packed my bag. I packed a small bag.
So mama won't having it.
No.
Okay.
No.
And what did she say to you?
She told me that I was not going to quit.
Okay.
And my grandmother said, "God deserves better than your failure."
I love that.
And my grandmother had started me playing the piano, and I was playing at our church, and she said, "I want you to go in the room and play 'Tis So Sweet to Trust in Jesus," just to take him at his word, just to rest upon his promise,
Come on.
just to know, "Thus saith the Lord."
Wow.
And so I started to play and cry and play and cry.
And cry.
And they let me stay the weekend. And then they didn't even drive me back. They put me on the bus Sunday night.
What?
They didn't drive me back. They put me on the bus Sunday night and sent me back. And I attribute my success to those moments when I was about to give up, when I thought my circumstances said, "You can't make it here. This is not your crowd. You're not going to be able to do anything, so give up." And from that point on, anytime things get very difficult for me,
Right.
it motivates me.
Okay.
It motivates me to say, all things are possible through Christ Jesus. And so I move ahead in that frame of mind.
Now, did you go back with confidence to
I
face
went
these
back.
roommates?
I went back, no. I went back. And my grandmother had said, when you walk on the campus, I want you to look up and I want you to sing, "Angels watching over me, my Lord, angels watching over me." Now, that's a Black history song.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. You
yes.
really tying this Black history
yes.
into this.
So I did, and I ran into an older person from my hometown.
Okay.
And she asked me how was I doing, and I told her I wasn't doing well, and I told her all the things that
was happening.
Mm-hmm. And so she took me to the dorm person that was in charge of another dorm, and got me with a beautiful roommate, wonderful roommate, and we're still friends to this day. So she helped me get out of that situation into a much better situation. And so things changed.
To God be the glory.
Yes.
So you're saying, is this the first book in the
That is the
series,
first book.
Jagged Edges?
Yes.
Would you contribute that? Is any of this book about your humble beginning there at the university, or you were just inspired through the series of events to write Jagged Edges?
I was inspired to write Jagged Edges. If you ask a first grader to draw a broken heart, they're going to draw two pieces, and in the center there will be jagged edges. I don't care how young the person is. If you ask them to draw a broken heart, they draw two separate pieces and jagged edges.
Yes, we do.
And
we all still do
yes,
that.
we still do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who had been betrayed, and that kind of inspired this. But none of the characters or any of the information is about that. I simply took betrayal.
Okay, so this book is about betrayal.
Yes. And
wow, we're coming into it. Story of betrayal. Jagged Edges, okay?
So this is the story of a young man who was born into wealth. Mm-hmm. He had everything going for him. And he had graduated from Harvard Law, and he thought that he was going to marry the beautiful dancer, Morgan LaRue. But she betrayed him. So there's a twist to this book. Usually we read books where the woman is betrayed by the man, but in this book, the man is betrayed by the woman. Okay. And the main lesson that I want people to understand is that betrayal is something that causes complete change in the way you view a person. They can forgive you, but you can never go back to its original state. Once you've been betrayed, you can never go back to that trust factor that you had. You may decide to give them some trust, but it will never be the original. And so I wanted people to understand that if you are even thinking about betraying somebody, think long and hard, because you can never get back what you had.
Wow. So this book on betrayal, what is the character in this book, this young man?
The character is Derek Wellington III.
So you will follow Derek through a life. I love that, because here, you know, sometimes that's how we feel, that we go to one of the most prestigious schools. We are in love with the most beautiful girl in the world, and we think our life is perfect. So then it takes a twist.
Yes.
So if you want the conclusion of the book, you're going to have to go to DorisDancy.com or go on Amazon and order this book. One moment of betrayal leaves so much torn. So does he find his way back to his future bride, or the story ends and take another turn?
Well, one of the things we know is that men do not deal with betrayal the same way women deal with betrayal. If a man betrays a woman, sometimes that woman will take that man back completely. But when a woman betrays a man, it's a whole different story. Yes. Wow. And so when you read that book, you will find out that he has great struggles with ever even having a close relationship. And I don't want to tell too much.
Okay,
but
okay. You got to get the book. I'm excited now because, you know, with Valentine's Day, you know, a lot of you out there may be experiencing betrayal right now, but one thing I want you to know, there's always a shining light at the end, and we're going to talk about that too. Now let's move on to your next series. So what made you write the second part of the series? Does it conclude from Derek? Is he now in Shattered Pieces?
Derek is in Shattered Pieces.
Oh, I love it.
And this man, Zachary Belfort, is in Jagged Edges. They are roommates at Harvard. The difference is Derek was born into wealth, had everything. Zach was born into poverty, but he was extremely smart, and he worked his way up to Harvard Law. And so they were roommates. And this is the man who betrayed him, who betrayed Derek. So Derek was betrayed by his best friend.
I like this already. This sounds like a snuggle up book that you want to pick up. So Derek and Zach are roommates at Harvard. So now, as you put your pen to the paper, I love that name, by the way, of your company writing, that you decided to bring Derek into Shattered Pieces.
Yes.
And now, does he discover what Derek has done to him?
Not what Zach has done.
Zach has done.
He definitely discovers it. But I want to tell you this. Because Zach was born into poverty, he was born to parents who were not ready to have children. And so they didn't love Zach. So Zach does not know how to love. So even though Derek cares about Zach, Zach does not know how to return that. So even in the betrayal, he betrays with Derek's girlfriend, but he doesn't love her. He just wants to see, okay, you're a rich man, you think you have everything. I'm a poor man, I can take your girl.
Wow. So you're saying that when we don't truly understand what love is, this can happen. And it's not like he intended it. It came from his environment.
His environment.
You know that is happening every day, everyday life. That sometimes they used to always tell us, you have to find the root of the problem. Because sometimes people don't want to be in these type of relationships. But because of what they were forced into, this already sound interesting here. So Shattered Pieces, how did you come up with the name?
He is in Shattered Pieces. If you find anyone who does not have love in their life, and they've never had love in their life, everything that happens to them shatters them a bit. It causes them to break, and they continue to break and break and break until you get to the redemptive part. So we have lots of young people today who are continuously being broken. We see kindergartners coming in ready to fight teachers or throw chairs, and they've already been broken. And so they are beginning the shatteredness of their lives until they get to all of these different broken pieces. And that's how I see, because I taught a lot of kids and I've known a lot of relationships with children and their parents, I see them as shattered pieces. Right. But they don't have to stay shattered. And that was what I wanted to write about. How you can begin one way, but you don't have to end that way. The other thing, Ms. H, I wanted to bring out is that you can start in poverty, but you don't have to end up in poverty.
Wow.
Zach does not end up in poverty. Your beginnings don't have to be your end. And I wanted our children to recognize that you can have a better life. And I try to show that in this book.
I love it. And being an educator, and again, thank you for your service, because I see educating our future is just as important as someone serving in the way of a policeman, or whether you are a soldier. You're serving your community as well. So thank you for spending those years to educate our youth. But you're absolutely right. Just because you were born in poverty, you don't have to stay there. So he went on to Harvard, but his heart was shattered when he got there.
Yes.
So what happened? Give us some more interesting facts about the book.
About this book?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to tell you too much. Zach is he experiences OCD. He's extremely neat. Everything has to be in place for him because he was born in poverty with a lot of dirty things. He can't stand dirt.
Okay.
Everything has to be in place for him. Okay. So that's a little bit about him.
Okay, you heard what she said, shattered pieces. We don't want to tell too much. She's drawing me in. I love good story. So that's what's happening. You know, first the betrayal, now the shattered, broken pieces. What a opportunity time to celebrate during Valentine's Day. And again, she has these 3 series as a Valentine's special. You got to go to her website. So now we go from Zach, Derek. See, I'm hanging in
Derek,
there. Zach, and now Zach is coming in. I can see him moving forward. Is he coming into all other ground?
Mentally.
Okay.
Because that is Summer Carlton.
Okay.
And Summer Carlton came every time Zach called. And he generally called at night. So we know what that means.
Okay. So now we got all other ground. Now, what was the time span that from jagged edges to shattered pieces that you came up with the plot for this book?
I wrote that one in 2013, 16, and 19.
So
18.
13, 16, so there was a 3-year span, and now 19. That's another 3 years. So you do things in threes.
You know what that means, Holy Ghost.
All right. Not only that, some amazing things happen within those 3 years. You won an award for this book. 5 awards. Tell us about those 5 awards before we get to all of the ground.
One was
just tell us any of them if you can remember.
Something about favorite reader, the best reader.
Let me see if I can jog your memory. I wrote down just a few.
Good.
I saw it for her. The USA Best Book Award finalist.
Yes.
And check this out. In the category of African American fiction. So here, Shattered Pieces was nominated as a USA Best Book Award. So that is an awesome accomplishment. Not only that, in 2015, see, when you don't toot your horn, let someone else toot your horn for you. She was awarded the reader's favorite in 2015, a 5-star review. And we all know what 5-star is for Shattered Pieces. So this book is very much beloved, as well as Jagged Edges. She also won in 2014 the International Book Award finalist for the Redemptive Love series in 2014. And another award that I noticed is a 3-in-1 Voice Book Award for Christian writers, acknowledging Christian artists. So she was acknowledged and won a 3-in-1 award. Your books have gone places and caught the attention of readers from all over to be awarded. Tell us what that feels like to you to have accomplished that.
I don't really concentrate too much on awards.
Okay.
I think awards come from man. I'm looking for a bigger award. As long as I am doing what I believe God has put in my hands to do, as long as I am doing the best I can with what He has given me to do, and I'm following His plan, that is my reward. So my husband could tell you I have gotten so many awards and so many different things. I have 2 awards hanging in my house. And one is the Outstanding Teacher of English for the state of Virginia.
Now that's amazing. Say that again. Tell the viewers about that.
It was the Outstanding English Award for the state of Virginia, and I was the first black woman to ever receive that award. And a lady came up to me at the end of that award and said, I just wanted to shake your hand and thank you for letting me see this in my lifetime. And so that award meant a lot to me because of what she did. And then the other one that I really have hanging in my house is the National Award for Best Readers, the one that for teaching successful readers, because we have so many children in our society that cannot read. And
that is amazing.
I find reading to be one of the most powerful things that you can teach anybody.
Yes, it is.
Because once you can teach them how to read, they can vicariously travel anywhere, do anything that they want to do. They can do it in actuality, but if they can't do it in actuality, they can do it vicariously. I can go to Switzerland right now, just get a book, read about it, and I'm in Switzerland. So if I can't actually go to Switzerland or go to Japan or all these places, I can read about them and know. So reading is a powerful thing. So that award was very meaningful to me because it showed that I had done something to help our children learn how to experience the world.
Well, I celebrate you today for that accomplishment, being the very first African-American female in the state of Virginia. What a powerful award. Again, I told you you didn't want to miss this show today. We're celebrating Black History Month. We're celebrating Valentine's Day. But look at how we're able to celebrate someone right now in our present that we can touch and feel, someone right around. You just never know who people are and what they're capable of doing. Now that leads us to 2019. You decided to write a novel called All Other Ground. Introduce this book.
Okay, All Other Ground is, the protagonist is Summer Carlton, and she fell in love with Zach. But Zach did not fall in love with her, and it devastated her. And she blamed God for all of the things that happened to her that she didn't like.
Well, it sounded like Summer was a Christian girl.
She was brought up to be a Christian, but she kind of lost it on her way.
She lost her way. Okay.
Because, like I said, she would come every time Zach called. And so she's very promiscuous.
Okay.
And she blames God for her downfalls. And a lot of times when we get off of God's path and design our own path, we make a mess out of it.
Yes, we do.
And so she started designing her own path, made a mess out of her life to the point where the story begins. She's about to commit suicide. And the message that I want to get across in this book is you can do all of the bad things that you want to do, but all other ground is sinking sand. You know that hymn?
Oh, okay, yeah. On the solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. But on Christ,
the solid rock I stand. There you go. So she had to find the solid ground. So she is angry with the world. She is angry with Zach. She is angry with her parents because, and I cannot tell you why she is so angry, because that would destroy that whole book if I told you why she was angry. But she is angry because she got off of God's path. And when she got off of that path, she became very angry with what happened to her. And a lot of negative things happened to her. So she had to find out that all other ground is sinking sand. She was sinking.
Wow. I can see now why, I'm being lured into this series, and I see now why it's a series, a redemptive series. And I love the word redemptive because it reminds me of the redemption on how God loved us, and he had to redeem our life and bring us back, from having a life of jagged edges, shattered pieces, to a solid ground foundation. So you have such a creative imagination that brings a reader into these books. Where do you go, and what really inspires you each time you get ready for these series? Everybody have their source of inspiration. Some people is music, some people is museums. What would you contribute to your source of inspiration for writing?
I studied the word a lot. the Bible
Okay.
a lot.
Okay.
And I get my inspiration from the Bible, but also from people and children that I have taught.
I love it.
Things that I have seen that I wish they would know not to do. If they could only follow a better path. And that's really what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to get a message out that if you're broken, you don't have to stay broken.
I like it.
And you don't have to make these mistakes that they make. You don't have to choose a person to marry just because you think, oh, I'm 28 years old and I need to get married.
Right.
Can I tell you one story in this book?
Sure,
that
sure.
I think has been one of the most powerful parts of that book. Zach finally figured out that he was really in love with this girl, and he went to her house thinking he could see her, but only her father was there. She had left the country. She was so hurt she had left the country. Her father sat him down and he told him, when you take a man's daughter to an altar and the minister says, who gives this man to be married to this woman? And the man says, I do. He's saying, as the father of this daughter, I do trust you that you're going to honor my child, that you're going to love her, that you're going to give her everything that I have given her in her young life. I don't expect that you're going to destroy her. So a lot of people have said they never thought about that question when a man goes to the altar and says he gives away his daughter.
Wow.
When he gives her away, he's giving her away to a person that he hopes will honor her. Just like your husband honored you today. He wants a man like that for his child, not somebody that's going to be controlling and revengeful and abusive and all of those things. So a lot of people have told me that that part of the book really got their attention.
I love it. Again, we're here talking to Miss Doris H. Dancy about her Redemptive Love series. So far, these books have the ability to take this message. I would love to see them in a screenplay.
I would love to see that too.
I would love to see them in a film. And you know what? If you ever decide to, I'm saying it here first, our time is winding down, so I need to get this in. I want to be one of the actress to audition for one of the parts in these books because the messages are so powerful. And you know, they always tell you words are like 1,000. A picture paints 1,000 pieces. And to get this message out, you know, I still love sitting down reading a good book. They're all good read. So if you want to order her Redemptive Love series, please visit her website at dorisdancy.com or go to Amazon and order. She has a Valentine's special. I'm going to put it up on the screen for you right now. Her Valentine's special. That you can get her 3 sets of Redemption Love series, Jagged Edges, Shattered Pieces, and All Other Ground for one low price of $50. Yes, you can get all 3 books. If you buy them separately, they're going to cost more. And from what I can understand from her, you can't have one without the other. As you read one, is going to bring you into the others. So you want to read the books. And we're going to get ready to close with Miss Dancy right now. And I want to just tell you that if you go to her website, you can find her upcoming events. You can find where she will be doing her next book signing, as well as I just want to just throw out another book signing right now. My guest from last week, Mr. Alan Wilson, on Saturday, February the 16th, he will be at the St. Charles Mall. His book is called The Manufacturer's Manual. Go out and see Mr. Wilson. Tell him Ms. H sent you, and go out and talk with him and let him sign your book. But go to Miss Dancy's website. Again, you can follow her on on Twitter. You can see her Facebook page. You can go to her LinkedIn page. But the best way, Instagram, the best way to order the books, go to her website, visit her website, and again, look at all that she is doing to help our youth, to help our young people, and to help us, no matter what your age is, to become readers, to enjoy a great story. But most of all, there's a message in every story. Do you have any final words before we close, Miss Dancy?
I just would like for the readers to pay attention to the titles, because the titles tell a lot. Jagged edges, broken hearts. We have so many broken hearts, and even today on Valentine's Day, you'll find lots of people who have a broken heart. And when we have our children too soon, before we're ready to really commit to them, we can cause them to become shattered pieces. When children are brought into the world and they're unloved and they're uncared for, they break apart. And the final message is, no matter what you're doing in your life, all other ground is sinking sand. If you're not doing the right things, that's sinking sand. You're not going to be successful doing all the wrong things. So we need to be on solid ground.
I love it. I want to say again, thank you. I honor you, Ms. Dancy, for the work that you have contributed as an educator, as a writer, as an author, as a publisher, and all the accolades and the awards. I want to be like you.
Thank you.
I am honored to have met you. I hope this won't be the last time.
I hope not.
And again, thank you for being my special guest during this wonderful celebration of Black History. Again, as we close, I want to say thank you for viewing QETV Live show with your host, Ms. H. You can see me every Thursday here on Vox Wave from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, it's not too late to say, I love you. Give hugs and kisses to all your grands, all your nieces, nephews, mother, father, brothers, sisters. Get out there and say happy birthday. Give a lot of love and hugs, and celebrate someone during this time of Black History Month, whether it's your parents, honor them, whether it's respecting someone else. Let's celebrate Black History Month together. Love you and have a blessed day.